As we are getting closer to the end of this conversation, but to be continued with other further conversation, especially at the Congress in June in Austria, you have been very passionate and very active about tourism and wellness tourism in particular. What are your thoughts, concluding thoughts, on medical wellness tourism?
Medical wellness tourism is really interesting because you've got medical tourism and you've got wellness tourism. So let's just clarify those two items because medical wellness probably is coming somewhere in between them. Well, medical tourism is, to me, very easy to explain. And I gave an example earlier, but that is where a person travels from one location to another location to get a medical procedure done. Could be an organ transplant. I mean, that's very clearly medical tourism. Most people associate that with international travel and say, oh, well, an American will travel to Thailand to get their organ transplant, or they'll travel to Mexico to get their organ. And that's medical tourism. But in actual fact, medical tourism can be domestic as well. I could be in New York and travel to California to see my oncologist. That would be medical tourism as well. Wellness tourism is defined by me making my journey for the purpose of improving my state of well-being. So I want to take various wellness paths that I mentioned earlier, and I want somebody to help guide me on those paths to help me and motivate me to get into a better state of well-being. And that's wellness tourism. So where does medical wellness fit? That's not quite so easy to categorize. It's coming in between, exactly. It's coming in between. And I really don't think it actually matters, you know. I don't think it matters. It's our industry classification. The public just need to know what they're getting. So if you are an operator and you want to call yourself a Medi spa or you want to call yourself a wellness retreat, it doesn't really matter as long as you're able to communicate to your market what you do and why you do it. However, from the tourist marketing perspective, okay, so where do you put these buckets? Do you, as a tourist board, create a department for medical and a department for wellness? Perhaps not. And I think Dubai have carved out an interesting way of dealing with this. Obviously, they have their very, very active Department of Tourism for Dubai. But in there, they've created the Health Tourism Department, which actually looks after both wellness tourism and medical tourism. And of course, Dubai has had medical tourism for a long time in creating Dubai Health City. And now they are creating Wellness City and creating a whole aspect of wellness tourism. So that would be, for the delegates, something interesting to watch is, okay, how are Dubai promoting both medical and wellness, and will they now term it medical wellness tourism? We'll see.
Indeed, and on this note, Singapore also is taking a very strong stand as a nation city in this category. Bangkok, for sure, has been on the leading front for many years. Dubai definitely making massive investments with the Dubai Health Authority, and Singapore also catching up. So probably other destination management organizations will say, well, you know, we want to be perceived as a wellness destination with lots of things to do, but also for people to come to stay with longer stays, which is good. With when you put your hospitality hat, it means, as you put it, you mentioned it years ago in a conference, spa and wellness definitely increasing the stay, the upgrading the category of room, the average spend. But also for people eventually maybe to retire and have a good quality of life with the communities you mentioned.
So on that note, Jean-Guy, and it's a relevant note, and as I said, we could have talked for a long time on what's happening in the industry. But on that note, always the dilemma for a wellness retreat is how to promote habit change. You know, it's great to come here for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and say, this is fantastic, this is how I want to live, you've done wonders for me, and then get back home and just slip back into your old routines. that's why I think the real estate play in Europe and in North America is going to be successful, because you can, and Serembe has shown it in outside of Atlanta, the resort outside of Atlanta has shown this, is that through long-term immersion in an environment that does everything to encourage the right wellness paths, you are going to spend longer there. And if you spend longer there, your state of well-being should be improved. And that will be a successful model because demand is driving that.